Okay, we got this last one here. It looks like I've got all three sides. So I think, like I said last time, I got side, side, side. This is one where I will be forced to use the cosine law. And you might ask, well, how do you know? Well, I always try to see if I can use the sine law first, because it's the easiest one to quickly see. I need a full pair. So do I have a full pair of B's? No, I do not. I'm missing the angle. Do I have a full pair of C's? No, I'm not. I'm missing, again, angle C. And do I have a full pair of A's? No, I do not. If I do not even have a full pair, I cannot do the sine law. So I am required to do the cosine law. So I'm just going to choose arbitrarily A. Now, after I'm done that, I got to pick another one. I don't know which one I'll pick. Maybe I'll pick B. But at that point, I probably could use the sine law. However, once I start trying to go down the path of using the sine law to find an angle, I know it's going to spit out two answers. And maybe I'll get lucky and one of those answers will immediately be rejected. But sometimes it's not. And then I'm forced to do another sine law on the other angle to see if I can figure out, well, which ones match and see which ones get eliminated, which ones... I don't have to do any of that if I stick to the cosine law. So I'm going to use the cosine law for A right away. And I'm going to just, once I'm done, I'll probably do the cosine law again. That way I don't have to deal with any ambiguity. So A here is 6, B is 12, and C is 10. So I'm going to write this down. So I'm going to have a 6 squared equals 12 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 12 times 10 times cos of the angle I need, angle A, which gives me 36 equals 144 plus 100 minus 240 cos of A. And a lot of kids, a lot of students will want to subtract that over, and add that over. And I said it before, this is actually a multiply, so I can't add that last one over. To get rid of a multiply, we'll need to divide. So I can do the first two. I can subtract the 144. It's just a positive 144 and a positive 100 that are being added to this thing. So I'm going to subtract them. 144 and 100. So those are gone. And I'm going to get, this looks like it's 144 and 100. That's going to be a bigger number. Let's just double check. Negative 208. And then on this side, I got a negative 240 cos A. Now I can get rid of that 240. Because it's being multiplied, I'll divide by negative 240. Which I don't know what that is. 0.866 repeated cos of A. So I'm going to take a look now at my chart, 0.866, and I've got to use cosine. Okay, here we go. Now look at that. 866 is exactly 30 degrees. Or I could use a calculator, and I have to get rid of cos, so I'll do a cos inverse of 0.866, and I'll get around 30. So let's just put approximately 30 degrees. That only found me A. So now I know that A is approximately 30 degrees. That's right here. 30 degrees. And as you can see, I now have a pair. So if I were to use the sine law, I would get two possible angles for whatever I'm finding. I got a pair, maybe I want to find B. So I have a full pair of A's and a partial pair of B's. I could find B. Problem is, it's going to spit out two answers. Sometimes one of those answers can be rejected immediately, and then we're okay. Other times, it's not clear which one to reject, or if we have to accept both. So then I'd have to do, because I got a full pair of A's, I got to keep them there. I would do, after I figure out what my two options for B were, I would go and figure out my two options for C. And then I would see, well, which ones do I have to keep? Unless, again, one is immediately rejected. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to go and find B. And I'm going to do that with the cosine law because the cosine law just needs all three sides, and I already have them. Instead of finding A, I'll find B. And because it's B, I will use the B formula, which is right here. And now I just got to fill things in. B is 12 and C is 10. And A, I think, was 6. So minus 2 times 6 times 10 times cos of B. So 144, 36, 100, 120, cos of B. Again, I'm going to just throw those two over. I can't, by subtracting, I can't add the 120 because it's being multiplied. I'll have to divide that later. So these will be gone, and I'm going to move them over here. And 144 minus 100 is 44. That's just going to be an 8. Now I can divide. Those are gone, and I got to figure out what is 8 over 120. 8 divided by 120. 0.066 repeated cos of B. So I can look at my chart here and figure out 0.066 cos. So cos is negative over here. 0.66. Okay, this 0.70. No, I was 0.66. I'm 4 away. That's 94. I'm just going to use that. 94 seems reasonable. So B would then be 94 degrees. So B is 94. A was 30. B is, where is that? There we go. B is 94, approximately 94 degrees. And now I can, now that I know, guaranteed these are 2, because cosine law is able to differentiate and it will always choose the right one. I can now just go sum them up, 94 plus 30, and subtract that from 180. So, to find my C. So where is that? 180. By the way, we could have done that other one with the calculator. I think I just saw it on there. Was it 0.066? So cos inverse of negative 0.0666. Do I get 94-ish? Yep, 93.8. Anyways, I'm going 180 minus the 30 minus the 94, and I should get my last one, 56. So 56 degrees is my C. I'm going to write that down. 56 approximately. And then we have it, all the sides and angles. So say now we're done. But after we found A, which was 30, we could have used the sine law. We had a full pair of A's. We could have, we had the 10 already, so we could have found C, 56. So let's just see if we did the sine law, what would have happened? So I'd want to find capital C. Where are we here? Capital C. Let's just do it just to see. And I had my pair of A's. So I don't need to do this. I'm obviously done. But what if you wanted to do the sine law? After you found this, you're like, okay, sine law is easier. I'll just use that. I know it's going to spit out 2. So maybe we'll get lucky. So sine of C, I don't know what C is. Little c, 10. Little a, 6. Sine A, we originally found that to be 30 degrees. So then I have to figure out, well, what's sine of 30? Nope, that's Screen Pal. That's not going to work. Sine of 30. Okay, sine of 30. 0.500. Okay. Over 6 and then times it by 10. So we'll just see what we end up getting here. 0.5 divided by 6 times it by 10. 0.833. So this thing would have become a 0.833 sine of C. So I'm going to try to look for sine of 833 on my table. Sine 833. 833. Ooh, it looks like it's 4 away. It's so close. I'd probably 6 away, and I mean, I don't know. It's closer to the 56. So 56, let's just say 56. 829, 56. And then I got to go over here and find 829 again. 56, 829, 124. So 56 and 124 degrees. And I only knew 30, and I found my next one to be C, which is 56 and 124. Neither of those could have been rejected. 124 plus 30 is still below 180. So I wouldn't know. We might think to ourselves, there's 2 possibilities. I guess I'm going to have to do what we did a couple videos ago and create 2 scenarios. But you can't do that. At this point, what we would need to do is say, okay, well, 56, that would spit out to find angle, the remaining angle, B. I have to just do some quick math here. 180 minus 56 minus 30. That would give me a 94, which, by the way, is the answer. And then this option, so I have to subtract 180 minus 124, 26. This is an impossible answer, and you wouldn't know that. But what we would need to then do is do this whole process again. Instead of a C that we were finding, we would change this to a B. And if you did that, it would again spit out 2 answers. And it would spit out these answers as well as another random pair. I don't know if it'll match this. And then we would compare. We're like, oh, 56 and 94 came up in both scenarios, so that must have been the answer. And so it just ends up being a lot of work, because even though the sine law is faster, you get 2 answers. You can't reject any of them. So then you got to do the sine law again with C's and then see what matches. If you're going to do 2 sine laws and compare and contrast, we might as well just stick to the cosine law. And guaranteed, for this scenario, when you are not forced to do sine, no one's forcing you to do sine law, you will find that there will always be a reject. One of them will have to get rejected. So both of those pairs worked, and then you'll do it again, and you'll find another pair, and 2 of them will match, and you'll be like, that's our set. These are no longer options. That's if you have to do all of that work, you might as well have just stuck with the cosine law. So, rule of thumb, if you are forced to use sine law, use it. That's what I did in these 2 ones. We were forced to use sine law, and we came up with 2 possibilities. And even after we were done that, we couldn't do anything else. We just had to use cosine law to find our sides. This one was nice because one of them was immediately rejected. This one, not so nice because there was nothing left to do. We had to just take both of them at their word and use the cosine law twice to find their 2 possible sides. So there's a lot going on in these. So as a reminder, if you start with the sine law, if you're forced to, you're going to get 2 options. If you start with the cosine law, just stick to using the cosine law. It'll always be just a single answer, and it will be 1 solution set.